How y'all doing today? Well, I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on making a review today. I thought Jake was going to do it. Logged on to YouTube to watch his review. Didn't exist. So I said, well, shit. I watched Raw. Let's do this thing. Let's review this bad boy. Show starts off as it should with Randall Keith Orton coming to the ring, and he talks about last night how he defeated the Big Show, but he said the Authority was going to join him in the ring, so he brings out Triple H and Stephanie. They're talking about how they said there wasn't going to be any physical interference, and there technically wasn't. And Randy Orton starts spouting off how he didn't need help. He could do it all by himself. He doesn't have time for this. He doesn't need help from these guys. Even though he was kind of unconscious almost when they started helping him. But that's beside the point. And then Randy Orton starts going ape crazy mode. He's the greatest wrestler of all time in the 50-year history. He's better than everybody, all this. No one's going to stand in his way. No one can take that away from him. And Cena's music hits. Cena comes out, does the normal Cena thing, which is, be a boss. So he goes after him and he's like, listen, I think the real face, I think there's only one champion. So how about me and you right here tonight, both titles on the line, let's do this. And the Triple H and Stephanie are like, well, we have been talking about this for a while, to be honest. And then Randy Orton freaks out, of course, after because he walked in at Survivor Series and Cena was there and he got all mad and all that good stuff. So that was going on. So then Triple H is like, well, listen, in 3 weeks at the TLC pay-per-view, we're going to have a TLC match. We're going to put both titles up there and they're going to both be on the line, which you got to, again, listen, you got to pay attention here. You got to listen to the wording when it comes to wrestling. Never did they call this a unification match. When you first hear it, you probably think, oh, unification match. But you notice they never call it that. They just say both titles are on the line. So what's to say, they just don't go up and John Cena grabs the WWE title, Orton gets the world title, and then there's still two titles. They go on and do they do their stuff. Or they grab their own titles back and move on with it. You know what I mean? So you gotta know they never called this a unification match. Sure, it could happen. Really, really unlikely in my mind, especially a TLC type pay-per-view. But we'll see. Everyone last night on the internet, oh no, I don't want to see Orton versus Cena at WrestleMania. Well, shocker, guess what? You guys jumped the gun and were wrong. It still could happen, and Lord, I hope it does. But we get it at TLC in a couple weeks, so if nothing else, it'll give a big-time feel. I mean, whether you like the guys or not, Randy Orton versus John Cena, no matter how many times it happens, those are two of the biggest dudes you can throw out there. And especially like a TLC type pay-per-view, it's like, it's going to do nothing but add to it, if you be honest with yourself. And then we got the Shield versus Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust. Most of the time when the Shield is in a match, it's a good match. People have been doing good stuff lately. Roman Reigns, my boy. That is my boy. He's hitting spears on Rey, spears on Goldust. Ambrose ends up hitting Cody Rhodes, gets the pin. Shield go over here. Is the downfall of Cody Rhodes, still coming like we predicted it was last night? Maybe. But hey, the Shield are my boys, so what can I say? I ain't mad at it. Then we got a Miz TV segment, and he brings out Michael Strahan, which was Titus O'Neil with the Gap, the Gap painted in. So he comes out, and they were talking about, he was pretending to be Michael Strahan. You know how it goes. Michael Strahan actually comes out. They're doing something about hip tosses, and Miz talking crap on the Giants in playoffs, and then he's like, "Ooh, what a heel! Miz is such a heel. He's a bad guy." I'm like, "Oh my God, Miz, you're trying too hard." So then he ends up hip tossing Miz and Titus O'Neil, and then they're all friends at the end. And I'm just confused. But this is a segment where Michael Strahan announced Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena and Big Show for the main event, which would obviously happen later, seeing it was the main event. Moving on to the next match, another tag team match. It was Curtis Axel and the Ryback versus Mark Henry and Big E Langston in the Nation of Domination reincarnated. Perhaps, maybe, hopefully. Let's all pray. Please let that happen. I was super pumped for that tag team. I'm not even going to pretend like I wasn't. They were just laying it down on these boys. Mark Henry ends up getting the pin on Axel. It's World's Strongest Slam on Axel. So Mark Henry and Big E Langston win. They pump each other up afterwards. They're pumped. That is a lot of dude in that ring. Big black action. Gotta love those dudes. Then we get a Survivor Series rematch because, like we said last night, this match was such an instant classic that we had to run it out there again. The Total Divas versus the other Divas. Summer Rae ended up being the last available person for the normal Divas, and she just danced around for a while and then ended up getting beat by Nikki Bella. And that's that. So much heat on Eva Marie still. She comes in and people just boo. And I'm just like, it's all good. She's super hot. So that was a good time. But yeah, the Total Divas get to win. The Bellas and Eva Marie were the last three that didn't get eliminated. Then we get in one of the biggest confusions of all time, a Hamptons hardcore match, which JBL made much reference to. The Hamptons and hardcore do not exactly go hand in hand. If you know where the Hamptons is and what that is, just look up that place. Not much hardcore about it, but I mean they had boat oars in this match. They were hitting people with tennis rackets. Ziggler came out with the Islanders sweater on. They were trying hard. We had Ryder chants during this match. Sandow actually gets the win, which is a surprise since he's been kind of going straight down. It has seemed like, anyways, but he picks up the win against Dolph Ziggler. It was an entertaining match. I mean, it's a Hamptons hardcore match. What else are you gonna get? My favorite was Michael Cole. This says remnants of the Attitude Era. I said, oh God, no, it does not. Don't ever say that. Then you get backstage with Michael Strahan and Santino. Eric Rowan comes along, has the little mask or whatever, gives Strahan one, and they're all just confused. Then you got Punk and Bryan against the whole Wyatt family in a handicap match. They cut promos before, basically just CM Punk saying a statement, and then Dan Bryan would say yes, and then he'd say another statement, and Dan Bryan would say yes, and then just went on and on. And then he asked a question that wasn't a yes/no question, and Dan Bryan got confused because he only knows how to say one thing, so it kind of threw off his whole game. He's like, I don't know more words than one. Yes. Not a yes or no question, Daniel. So they were doing their thing. CM Punk, is it weird that we all each have our own microphone and Renee's asking us no questions? Yes, that was the best part. But we get this match. It ends up ending with a stoppage, DQ on the Wyatts because everyone was just going way too crazy in the ring. Everyone's attacking everyone. So Punk and Bryan technically get the win. After the match, the Wyatts attack both of them. They end up taking Daniel Bryan away to the back, and just as CM Punk goes after him to try to help Daniel Bryan, he catches a spear from Roman Reigns, and the Shield comes out and delivers a triple powerbomb. So now we got the Wyatts with Daniel Bryan taking him who knows where. You got the Shield taking out Punk, and you're thinking, where is this going? We'll see. It was a cool segment. I really like because you would think that at some point the Shield and the Wyatt family are going to square off, especially after that huge pop it got when they came face to face on that Raw. I think it is the England one. I'd be down for it. So as we keep moving more and more towards that, I'm interested to see where they take it, where Punk and Bryan are going to go from here. So we'll just have to see. Then we got Kofi versus The Miz. Miz gets the win here. The match was about as interesting as my tone right now talking about it. You had Hood Kofi. Hood Kofi was back. That's cool and all, but whatever. Then you got R-Truth talking about how he talked to Brodus Clay and he gave him permission to do this. What's about to happen? And he brings out Xavier Woods with the Funkadactyls to the song. He was getting that Funkadactyl treatment. He comes out and beats Heath Slater because most people on the roster would beat Heath Slater, so that he fits into that crew of guys that would beat Heath Slater, and he did. And then you got this backstage segment was this was pretty funny. Like sometimes they do dumb stuff. Not to say this wasn't dumb, but they do a lot of stuff backstage that I'm just like, wow, that was too much. But as dumb as this might have been, I laughed pretty hard. You got the Bellas backstage getting autographs from Michael Strahan. They say they're Eagles fans. He gets all irritated. Eva Marie comes in and says, I have my own show on the E! Network. I don't want an autograph. I just wanted you to get the opportunity to meet me. And then Goldust appears behind him with the wig on. He just does some crazy shit. Michael Strahan just looks around like, what in the hell is going on here? And Oh, he missed the Funkadactyls too. Yeah, I don't know. Just after the gold dust thing, I laughed so hard. I don't know. I can't explain why. I just lost it. It was so funny. And then you get to the main event of the evening: Randy Orton and Del Rio. Ugh, torn hearts there against John Cena and Big Show. Um, we got little to no, and by little to no, I mean no. Cena and Orton one-on-one in this match. That didn't come till afterwards, but I guess that's kind of what you have to do when, like I said, they're like the two biggest dudes. Pretty much, you kind of gotta save it for the time. So there was a lot of Orton on Big Show, Del Rio on Cena, and just tap back hot tags. Like when Cena was about to come in, Orton would hot tag out to Del Rio and all that kind of stuff. Cena ends up submitting Del Rio. He catches him in a counter off the cross arm breaker. And then Del Rio and Big Show was all woozy, so he was completely out of the picture. So Del Rio ends up catching an attitude adjustment from Cena. Orton cracks Cena right in the dome with the WWE title. Looks over, goes and grabs the world title. Holds both of them triumphantly over John Cena. Exactly how it should be. Don't get it twisted. Randy Orton should be both champions because he's just the man. I mean, this main event, it was okay. I wanted to see Orton and Cena. That's why I was looking for. I was like, okay, just give me some Orton Cena. Didn't really get it. That's okay though. It just Del Rio and Big Show have no right being in the ring with these two guys. Let's be honest here. These are the dudes, and we got Big Show and Del Rio in here just causing some shit. Like you guys are supposed to be in here with these dudes. Um, so yeah, the only problem with this match is that it wasn't just Randy Orton versus John Cena. There are some other jabronis in there doing some nonsense. So yeah, that was the show. Like I said, Orton ends up posing over John Cena with both the titles, as he should. Hopefully that happens at TLC. Like I said, I wouldn't bank on it because there's just whenever there's like sketchy wording, you just know they never said unification, so you don't suspect that that's going to happen, but you never know. So let me know what you thought about Raw this week. You can subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Probably an annotation somewhere because I'm learning how to use them. So subscribe to us, like this video, leave comments below, tell us what you thought, and we will see you later. Goodbye.